Now we are trying to do it with the hat clip. I've got this thing I can look at, see where my field of view is. This could end up being the real winner here, or the body cam will see. It seems like you can keep your head steadier. So I'm going to get about 5 minutes of footage here with this, the DJI Nano. We have the Instago 3S. I had the Instago 2. I've had two different Osmo vlogging cameras that were with gimbal built in. And then I've had two 360 cameras. One got damaged while snorkeling. They say you can, it's waterproof, but not recommended for going in the ocean. So this is the newest gadget. And they have a new Instago, but it's called the Insta Ultra or something. And I thought, this one was on sale, so I said, okay, I'll try DJI. What I've noticed is, most of the time, DJI has better audio, slightly better pictures. That Osmo 3 or whatever it is, volume camera, that thing takes unbelievable pictures, just still shots. The problem with that is, it's not waterproof at all. Not splash proof, not waterproof, but it does do a great job, and it's ultra smooth. Now the way these action cameras do it, they have a very wide field of view, and what they do is they crop it. So if you move around, it's sort of jostling in the middle of it to where it looks ultra steady, but then you end up cropping your view. Yeah, this is pretty cool, man, because this is almost wherever I look. And then you have this hat clip, and then you can just sort of adjust it. It has like a little adjustment to make it go up or down. Now, the one that's the magnet one on my chest, I have a feeling that doesn't. I'm going to have to get some kind of a wedge like we used on the Insta to angle it down just a tad. We'll check all of these out and the audio, talking into it. I might post it to everybody out there on YouTube, because I am taking some unbelievable footage at Coron Beach early in the morning. We were out here about 5:30. It's about 6 o'clock right now. The sun is just starting to rise. Absolutely gorgeous out here. Coron Beach. We're maybe 2 or 3 minutes closer to Kata Beach. If you go that way, where my finger's pointing, that'll take you over to Patong Beach, Freedom Beach, and then Patong Beach. And if you go around the corner here, there's this island you'll often see right there that's out in front of Kata Beach. So just around this thing is Kata Beach. And it's quite interesting because even though we're this close, the color of the sand is much different. Kata's sand is very white. The sand has a little bit of almost like an orangish thing, or mocha. You can see up here. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know what level of detail it's going to show. So part of this is to show the great footage to those fine folk in YouTube, and part of this is to test the audio, shake, 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 field of view, point of view, all that. Hopefully, without using an external microphone. And that's another reason why one thing I like about DJI better, if you do use an external microphone, that setup is much better on a DJI. There's a lot of things I like about the Insta better. Software is amazing. It's really hard to tell on these things. Of course, we got GoPro. I soured on GoPro a few years ago because, long before I did YouTube, I was doing YouTube. I just wasn't publishing things of all my trips, all through Africa and South America, things like that. And I used that, some of the earlier versions, and it would just get red hot. The heat on the GoPros was just unbelievable. So I kind of soured away from it, but someone was using one here recently. It's Kevin, I think. It really looks good on Kevin's, out of his $6 million basement that he lives in Kentucky, with a $1 million view and a $1 million view of a lake. It's known as Kevin's basement. I think we'd all like to have a basement like Kevin's. I know I would. I think any of the cameras, you can't go wrong. I had a white little Sony camera before that really was better than any of these cameras. But it was good but it would shake, It had anti-shake technology, but it wasn't nearly as advanced as the GoPro and some of the other ones. All right, as we get closer to the end here in Kata, no, not Kata, Korone. And now the sun is up, it's bright, not bright, it's lighter. It's so nice too at this beach. They bring people out here early in the morning, they rake it, they get rid of any seaweed or anything that might pop up in the night. So the beach is almost always impeccably clean. All right, I'll turn around one more time to end this off. Shout out to everybody coming up 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Winding down. We're leaving on 4th of July. So we got 2 more days here and then we're off. We will sorely miss this place. I'd say this is one of our best months that we've had in Southeast Asia since we started all of our little runs everywhere. And if you are a beach person, this island is the place to come, I'll tell you. It is just spectacular. It's quite interesting before I close it out. Like, in the same islands, you have about 9 or 10 or 11 distinctive beaches. East Coast, West Coast, Peninsula. They all have a different action. Some are like very calm, some are like this with waves. And if you want seclusion, they've got seclusion. If you want crowds, they got crowds. Whatever you want in the form of a beach, it seems like they have it here somewhere. All right, everybody, I'm gonna boogie on out of here. If I don't hear from you, let me say once again, happy Independence Day, 4th of July, coming up to America, and to all those. We will post a new book, Robin Williams, and maybe another one, Lee Marvin. See if it's finished enough to push the button. We've been working on these for 2 years, so hopefully it'll be ready. If it's not, it'll be ready next week. All right, everybody, from Coron Beach in Phuket. Hasta la vista.